Hello everyone and welcome to another News Coolum video and another one of my 500-mile trips up north. We're heading into Memorial Day weekend, so I can't really speak to the traffic right now. Hopefully it's not so bad, but I decided I would do a bit of a constraint on this trip. This is because last time I made this trip, I really did no planning in terms of where I was going to stop or for how long. There's so much redundancy and resiliency along some of these California highways now with public fast charging that it's getting to the point where you can pretty much pull off at almost any major off ramp and you'll find a public DC fast charger somewhere nearby. Now, it's not quite that extreme, but it's getting pretty close to that, especially with the chargers that are currently under construction. The constraint for this trip is I'm only going to spend 15 minutes charging at any charging location. So no more than 15 minutes per stop, and I'm going to see if I can complete my 500-mile trip. It's going to be longer no matter what, just because you add stops, it's going to increase the amount of sort of slop time. It takes about 5 minutes to 10 minutes to get to most chargers and activate and then get back on the freeway again. So I will be losing time because of that. However, the main purpose here isn't really to show off the Bolt EV, because the Bolt EV and the public charging infrastructure for the most part right now can only add about 40 miles of range per 15 minutes. So really what this is more than anything else is a demonstration of just how thick the public charging infrastructure in California is becoming. And, when we have 150 kilowatt chargers, a 15-minute stop is going to get you not to the next charger and not to the next charger after that, but maybe 3 or 4 chargers down the road. So that's a huge amount of resiliency and redundancy in the public charging infrastructure. And, I'm hoping to demonstrate it on this trip. Stick around. So we got slowed down a little bit, but we're pretty close to normal efficiency coming in here at the interchange onto I-5. I think for now the winds are going to be fairly favorable until we get over the Tehachapi's, at which point I believe we have a north wind or a headwind basically the entire way up until Sacramento. So that's not going to be ideal for efficiency, but I'm really not expecting that much anyway. This is heading into Memorial Day, so we could have a pretty significant traffic slowdowns. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight over there. So luckily we're going the opposite direction, and it's always nice when you're going against traffic. "15 minutes just isn't a very productive stop. I was barely able to go in and use the bathroom and grab something to drink and make it back out in time to get to the charger to stop it by 15 minutes. But we did. I'm going to head on to the next stop, which is typically my dinner stop, but 15 minutes isn't enough time to actually get dinner, so oh well. We added a little over 10 kilowatt hours. I'm not sure exactly how much that would be to the battery, but that's sort of a typical charge up to 55%. So there's also a Electrify America charger going in at this site. I don't think they've started construction yet. I can't really see any evidence of it, but it's a great site, and it's nice to have that level of redundancy where you have 2 different networks in more or less the same location. I think I literally spent more time getting on and off the freeway than I actually spent charging. And now we have a green light. we did our next 15 minutes, and yeah, this is actually a really, it's not a very fun way of traveling actually, because 15 minutes you don't even have enough time to really do that much. I basically just had the chance to wash off my windshield and just sort of figure out where I wanted to go next. But I was really hoping that the Electrify America site would be up, because we're adding about 10 to 11 kilowatt hours per 15-minute session, and based on freeway efficiency in the Bolt EV, that's somewhere between 35 and 40 miles per charge session. An Electrify America charger charges it much faster than that, so a 15-minute session I believe will be about 20% more, so we should be getting something like 12 to 13 kilowatt hours in the same amount of time. And so if that's the case, then instead of 35 to 40 miles at freeway efficiency, we'll be getting 40 to 45 miles at freeway efficiency. Another 15 minutes down and another charger to go. So the one we're going to head to now actually is a little bit far out based on our predicted range, but then I also know that this this particular charger is along a route where we're not going to be driving full 70-mile-an-hour freeway the entire time. So good news is the ChargePoint here in Santanella is back on, up and running, and a 15-minute stop at a gas station seems to be a bit appropriate. So this wasn't that bad of a stop. Of course, ChargePoint threw me for a loop, because unlike the EV Goes where you can just turn it off on the charger, well, I had to swipe my card. So I got an extra 6 seconds of charge in. I hope I haven't invalidated myself. Oh well. But time to head on to the Electrify America charger to see how well it's doing. All right, well, that worked out really well. As I suspected on the faster than 125 amp chargers, instead of adding about 10 to 11 kilowatt hours, I added over 13. Now, I didn't get all of that into the battery. I could tell because of how rigorously the battery cooling was running. I'm sure that the battery is getting pretty warm now. Hopefully, that cooled it down a bit. What you'd expect for a 120 amp 50 kilowatt charger. Two of the 50 kilowatt chargers are down. They have some sort of a fault error. Only one of them is working right now. And there is another Electrify America site that's going in just in the Walmart, I guess, maybe across the street. But again, this gets back to my point of when you start to have that sort of redundancy at an individual stop with your chargers, it makes things a lot more convenient because if this charger also had a fault, well, you show up there, three DC fast chargers are down, well, you can go across the street and use the Electrify Americas instead. I'm here at an EVgo charging station in Sacramento. It's 375 kilowatt ABB chargers. There are also three additional 50 kilowatt chargers. I don't know if there are really any sort of facilities around. It's at least right off the freeway. But either way, overall, I think it's a nice site. It's great to see faster than 50 kilowatt chargers available. I decided to do a quick stop off here in Sacramento International Airport at the Green Lots charger that's here in the free parking area. Part of that is I just needed to use the bathroom, but the other thing is too, we had plenty of range to make it to Dunnigan, the Electrify America charger there, but if I did 15 minutes in Dunnigan, it wouldn't be enough to get me all the way home anyway. That's like another 60, 70 miles of 70-mile-an-hour freeway, and then another 1,500, 2,000 feet of elevation increase on top of it. So either way, I was going to need to do another charge. It was either here or at a 24 kilowatt charger. So I figured I would kill two birds with one stone. Plus, I also wanted to check out to see if I could see where construction might be for the Electrify America charger that's going in here at the Sacramento International Airport. I don't know that much about it. I don't know the location where it's going to be, but it will be helpful to, we only have a single Greenlots charger here. I was really wishing they would expand that, at least add a second charger, but so far that hasn't happened. But the Electrify America charger should be a good addition as well. So again, though, speaking to that redundancy that we're seeing within the public charging infrastructure, a lot of these turnoffs on the freeway, you're going to find multiple charging providers with chargers available at that site. That was a 15-minute session. Unfortunately, my camera died just as I was ending it, but I'm not sure where Electrify America is putting their chargers in this location, but uh, I don't know if it's going to be the free parking area, the free waiting area, but it could be. Well, we made it to the last charge station. I pulled in at about 24%, so that top up at the Sacramento International Airport did help a little bit. But this should give me plenty of range to get home, even with the wind the way it is and the cold weather, and I guess I just missed a lightning or thunderstorm. So overall, I would consider this trip fairly successful. I wouldn't recommend traveling this way to anyone. The Bolt EV actually does much, much better if you charge for 30 to 35 minutes, sometimes 40 to 45, and then you can drive for an hour and a half or 2 hours in between stops. I find that to be a lot more useful and a lot more effective way of traveling. Gives you a chance to actually have a meal, and you don't really need to worry about rushing yourself. You could always take a couple of 15-minute breaks or 20-minute breaks instead, but you're still probably going to want to do at least one long stop for like a dinner or something on one of these 500-mile trips, because these 15-minute breaks just aren't economical time wise, just because of the extra amount of time that you have to spend getting on and off the freeway. I mean, there's an argument to be made that charging to 80% is actually more effective. I can actually make this 500-mile trip with only 2 charge stops, but that extra time that it takes to get to 80%, you'd be better off just cutting it short and making an extra 15 or 20-minute stop somewhere. So it's Memorial Day weekend, the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, and I only saw one other electric vehicle out of all of these charging stops. So to do 15 minutes a pop, but hit every single one of these charging stops and only see one other electric vehicle, that's actually pretty strange. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just non-Tesla EV drivers don't typically drive their cars on holiday weekends. I don't know. But I was surprised that I didn't see more. I hope this was sort of a helpful video. We got a smorgasbord of all the different chargers, got to see a bunch of different chargers in action. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. It really helps me do these sorts of journeys and mix things up a bit and test out different chargers. And thank you for watching.